Before we begin, let me know where you're watching from, and don't forget to support the channel by helping us reach 10,000 subscribers. Let's start. The mirror was not kind tonight. Cassian Price stood in front of it, trying to fix his cufflink. His fingers shook a little. Behind him, the tall buildings of the city sparkled like stars in the dark sky. His tuxedo looked perfect, but Cassian did not feel perfect inside. Tonight was the big party for Sterling Industries. Cassian was the chief operating officer. That meant he was very important. Everyone would be watching him. He gave a great speech earlier, but his mind was somewhere else. He kept thinking about one name on the guest list, Serena Marlowe. A few weeks ago, Cassian's friend Rowan made a joke. They were in a meeting, drinking and talking. Rowan said, "Do you remember your old assistant? Serena? You should invite her. That would be fun." Cassian had laughed, pretending it didn't matter. To look cool, he wrote her name on the guest list. But now it wasn't a joke anymore. He looked at the guest list again. Not only was Serena coming, but she was bringing 3 children. Cassian didn't add their names. Someone else had. He felt nervous. 3 years ago, Cassian remembered walking into the office. It was quiet. He was holding his coffee and talking on his headset. Then he saw a letter on his desk. It was from Serena. She was quitting. It was short. No reason. No goodbye. Cassian panicked. Serena had been more than just an assistant. She always knew what he needed. She helped him stay calm. She stayed late when he worked too long. She was like an anchor for him. He found her downstairs, leaving. He asked why. She looked calm and said, "I'm pregnant, Cassian." She was 4 months pregnant with triplets. Cassian couldn't speak. She said, "I didn't want to tell you if you didn't want this, but I thought you should know. I'll take care of them. Don't worry. You don't have to do anything." Cassian tried to help after that. He offered money, doctors, anything. But Serena said no. "You want control," she told him, "but I needed support." And then she was gone. Now she was coming back. Cassian checked the clock. It was 6:58 p.m. The party started at 7. He walked to the elevator, feeling nervous. "You asked for this," he said to himself. 7 miles away, Serena was getting ready too. "Ela, no glitter on your face. That's for art, not makeup." "Mommy, can I wear your shoes?" Leora asked, walking around in big heels. "Where's my bow tie?" Emrys shouted. The apartment was full of fun noise. It smelled like lotion and curling iron. Serena's green dress hung on the door. Her purse and the party invitation were ready. She had opened that invitation many times. It said, "Sterling Industries invites Miss Serena Marlowe and guests." Guests. That meant her kids. When she showed the invitation to the triplets, they got super excited. Emrys thought it was a birthday party. Leora and Isla were thrilled to dress up like princesses. Serena had quietly folded the invitation and put it in a book. Now she looked in the mirror. Her makeup was simple but pretty. Her hair looked nice again. She took a deep breath. She wasn't just going as someone's assistant. She was going as a mom, a strong woman. At 7:30 p.m., a black car stopped in front of the big Sterling building. Cassian was near the door, shaking hands and talking. Then something changed. People got quiet. Cassian looked up. His eyes went straight to the door. There she was, Serena in a green dress, looking amazing. Next to her were 3 beautiful kids. The girls wore matching dresses. The boy wore a tux and looked around like he was in a castle. Cassian turned pale. Rowan stood next to him. "Wow," Rowan said. "You really know how to make an entrance." Cassian didn't answer. Serena wasn't just walking into a party. She was walking back into his world with the family he had missed. The black car shone in the lights. A man opened the door. Serena stepped out. Everyone stared. Her dress flowed like a movie star's. She looked strong, calm, and beautiful. Isla and Leora followed in shiny dresses with bows. Emrys held Serena's hand, wearing his little tux. The doorman greeted them, surprised. Serena smiled and walked in. Inside, everything was fancy. The floor was white marble. Flowers made the air smell sweet. Music played, but no one noticed. Everyone was looking at Serena and the kids. Cassian had his back turned, but he felt the room change. He turned around and saw her, the woman who had left with a big belly and quiet goodbye. Now she was back, glowing, proud, and not alone. Cassian's fake smile disappeared. His face showed real surprise. Rowan said, "That's Serena, right?" Cassian couldn't speak. Tessa, who used to work with Serena, rushed over. "Serena Marlowe? Oh my gosh, Serena." Serena smiled. "Tessa." They hugged. "You look amazing," Tessa said. "Are these your kids?" Serena looked at them proudly. "Yes, these are my babies." Isla did a little curtsy. Leora spun around. Emrys held out his hand. "Hi, I'm Emrys. I'm 4.5. Tessa laughed. "He's adorable." Other people gathered nearby, pretending not to listen. Serena stayed calm. Her eyes found Cassian. Cassian stepped forward slowly. He looked nervous. "Serena?" Her face didn't change. "You look," he said, then looked at the kids. "You all look amazing." "Thank you. You look prepared," she replied. Her words were kind but strong. Cassian didn't know what to say. People were still watching. Just then, Meredith showed up. She was tall, blonde, and wearing blue velvet. She stood close to Cassian, her hand on his back. "Everything okay, Cassian?" she asked. She looked at Serena. Cassian froze. Serena saw it. Tessa saw it. So did many others. Meredith looked at the kids. "Oh, whose cute kids are these?" Before Cassian could answer, Serena said, "They're mine." Her voice was calm and clear. Cassian looked nervous. Meredith looked back at him. "Friends of yours?" Cassian paused. "They're family friends," he said fast, "just visiting. Their names are Chelsea, Jake, and Erica." The room went quiet. Even the kids looked confused. Serena raised her eyebrow but said nothing. She turned to her children. "Come on, sweethearts," she said. "Let's get some juice." Isla held her mom's hand. Emrys followed her but kept looking at Cassian. Leora stopped, tilted her head at Cassian, then skipped off. Tessa stared at Cassian like he had spilled juice on her grandma's favorite rug. Meredith took a slow sip of her fancy drink and leaned close to Cassian. "You're hiding something," she said. Before Cassian could say anything, Rowan walked up. Well, look who it is," Rowan said loudly with a big smile. "Serena Marlowe, it's been so long." He knelt in front of the children. "And who do we have here?" Isla said her name softly. Leora smiled and said her name proudly. Emrys puffed up his chest and said, "I'm Emrys, and this is my mommy." Rowan laughed. "You're a charmer. That's a strong handshake, too." Serena smiled for the first time since she saw Rowan. She felt something tight inside her chest. Cassian stood behind Rowan, not saying anything. The crowd began to calm down since no one had screamed or fainted. Rowan clapped Cassian on the back. "You didn't tell us you had family here. These kids, they're amazing." Cassian gave a small smile. "Yeah, they are." But Serena kept looking at Cassian. She saw everything on his face: embarrassment, confusion, and guilt. Later, while music played and people started talking again, Serena stood by the window holding a cup of sparkling cider. Her kids were at a table nearby, giggling and eating tiny snacks. Cassian came over again, this time alone. Meredith was gone. "I didn't mean to cause a scene," Cassian said softly. "You didn't," Serena answered, "but you still made one." "I'm sorry, that's not how I planned it." "Did you plan anything?" Serena asked. Her voice wasn't mean, just honest. Cassian didn't know what to say. "I didn't know if you'd come," he said. "You invited me," she replied. Cassian looked at the kids. "They look just like you." "They have your eyes," Serena said quietly. Cassian smiled, but it faded fast. "I wasn't ready back then." "And now?" she asked. He didn't answer. "Not yet," she said for him. Across the room, Meredith stood by the bar. She watched Serena with narrow eyes. She noticed how Cassian changed when Serena walked in. He hadn't touched his drink. He hadn't smiled the same way. He hadn't even introduced her to the children. She drank her glass of rose and left it on the bar. Then she walked away without saying anything. Back at the kids' table, Rowan joined them. "You know," he said with a smile, "this might be the best thing that's happened to this fancy party all year." Serena laughed. "Glad to be helpful." No joke, Rowan added. People needed this. Real life. Real family. Not just boring speeches. Emrys gave him a cracker. Rowan took it like it was a treasure. Cassian watched all of it. He felt something deep inside. Regret? Yes. But also surprise. How did he let all of this go? The ballroom sparkled under the pretty lights. People were talking again, but something still felt different. Like everyone was secretly watching one person. The lady in the green dress and her 3 children. Cassian stood in the corner watching Serena help the kids get food. She bent down to Emrys's level and helped him choose between crab cakes and little meatballs. Her face looked calm, but Cassian could feel there was fire under her smile. He hadn't meant to lie. He had called them family friends by mistake because he got scared. Now that lie was stuck in his head, making him feel worse. He saw the look in Leora's eyes when he said the wrong name. He saw Serena's silence. She didn't say anything at first, not because she was weak, but because she was strong. Meredith came back. She walked to Cassian quietly and stood next to him. "You're not very good at pretending tonight," she said, sipping her new drink. Cassian didn't say anything. "They're not family friends," she said. It wasn't a question. "No," Cassian finally said. She was surprised. "Are they yours?" Cassian looked down. "Yes," Meredith sighed. "And Serena?" "We were close. She left. I didn't stop her." "She's back now with Triplets?" He didn't say anything. "You should have told me." "You're right." Meredith gave a little laugh. "Great timing, Cassian." Cassian watched Serena laugh with Rowan and Tessa. The kids were sitting on a bench near the piano, moving to the music. "I made a mistake," Cassian said. "No, Cassian, you made a lot of mistakes, and it looks like you made 3 more, she said, then walked away. Serena stood near the flowers when Cassian came again. The piano played a soft, sad song. It hurt to hear it. "You lied," Serena said before he spoke. Cassian stopped. "To me, to everyone," she said. She looked tired, not angry. "You looked at your own kids and used fake names." Cassian tried to speak, but she raised her hand. "I didn't come here for drama," she said. "I came because the kids wanted to. Leora wanted to wear her new dress. Isla wanted to meet the man in the photo on my table. Emrys keeps asking what dad means." She looked him in the eye. "I didn't come here to play games, Cassian. I panicked. I wasn't ready." "You had 4 years," she said, her voice louder now. People looked their way. The room got quiet again. Cassian looked down. "I know." Serena stepped closer. "Do you even know what they like? Their favorite food? Who's scared of the vacuum?" Cassian's shoulders dropped. "No, I don't." Serena turned to walk away, but Isla ran up. "Mommy," she said softly, "the music is slow. Can we dance now?" Serena looked at her daughter, then at Cassian. Cassian knelt. "Can I have this dance?" he asked. Isla looked at her mom with big eyes. Serena waited a moment, then nodded. Isla smiled and took Cassian's hand. He lifted her gently and walked to the dance floor. The piano music changed to something happier. The dance was simple, a little silly, but full of feelings. People smiled. Cassian whispered, "You look beautiful, little lady." Isla giggled. "That's what Mommy said about herself." Cassian's throat felt tight. "She's right." After a while, he brought Isla back to Serena. Serena gave him a look that said, "We're not okay yet." Later, while dessert was passed around, the old CFO raised his glass. "To love," he said, "and to surprises." It was meant to be funny, but everyone looked at Serena again. She stood tall and strong. Cassian stepped forward. His hand shook a little as he raised his glass. "I have something to say," he began. Everyone went quiet. Serena turned to look at him, surprised. Cassian took a deep breath. 3 years ago, I let someone go. She gave me everything, and I gave her nothing. I wasn't brave. Tonight, I lied again. I looked at my own children and pretended they weren't mine because I was scared. People gasped. He looked at Serena. "They're not family friends. They're my kids, and Serena, she's the bravest woman I know." Serena's eyes filled with tears. The children looked over from their bench. Cassian knelt again. "Isla, Leora, Emrys, I'm your dad. I'm sorry I wasn't there. I want to be here now. Serena's hands shook. Rowan held his chest, moved by the moment. The piano music stopped. Emrys got off the bench and ran to Cassian, hugging him tightly. Isla and Leora followed. They hugged him like they had already forgiven him. Serena covered her mouth. Her breathing shook. The room clapped quietly. Cassian stood, holding Emrys and holding the other's hands. He looked at Serena. There was no pride in his face, only hope. Serena nodded once. It wasn't a full yes, but it was a beginning. 3 years ago, the Sterling office was busy. The sun came in through the windows. Phones rang. Somewhere, a printer printed more reports. In the executive area, Serena Marlowe sat at her desk outside Cassian's office. She was typing notes from an early morning meeting. No one knew she was pregnant, not even her best friend, Tessa. The day she found out, she didn't cry or smile. She just put her hand over her belly and sat quietly, listening to the tiny heartbeat inside her. Her relationship with Cassian was always tricky. He was always working, always serious. But sometimes, in quiet moments, he was sweet. He remembered how she liked her coffee. He once left her a note that said, "You saved me today. Thank you." They had shared quiet, secret moments. But as time passed, she saw more clearly. Cassian wanted power and fame. Serena realized she couldn't be just a small part of his big plans. When she took the test, she was already 12 weeks pregnant. She didn't notice earlier because she was always tired from work. But one day, she felt dizzy and went to the doctor. The nurse smiled at her and pointed to the screen. "Well," she said, "you're not just pregnant, you're very pregnant." Serena blinked. "How far along?" Cassian asked. "Almost 3 months," Serena said. "And you might want to sit down for this." "There are 3. 3 what?" Cassian asked. "Babies." For 2 days, Serena walked through her office feeling dizzy and confused. She smiled when people talked to her. She took notes and booked flights. But inside, everything felt upside down. She felt like someone walking on a rope high in the air, trying not to fall. It wasn't just the babies. It was also about Cassian. She knew him well. He was smart, charming, and full of big dreams. But he didn't show his feelings. He was always working and thinking big. But Serena wasn't sure if he had ever truly loved someone. That's what scared her the most. Not being alone, but being left by someone who wouldn't even admit he had walked away. One night, when the office was quiet and almost dark, Serena decided to leave. The janitor had turned off the hallway lights. Serena walked into Cassian's office and put an envelope on his desk. Then she walked out without looking back. Inside the letter, she wrote only this: "Cassian, I am leaving Sterling. I won't make this complicated. Thank you for everything. Serena." The next morning, Cassian saw the letter. He didn't notice the envelope at first until his hand touched it while searching his desk. When he saw her name, he stopped. He read the note once, then again, and one more time. Then he ran out of his office and called her phone. No answer. Then he saw her in the lobby. She was wearing her coat and walking toward the door. He walked quickly and gently held her arm. "Serena, what is this?" he asked. She looked up calmly. "I'm resigning," she said. "I can see that," Cassian replied. "But why? What happened?" Serena's voice got quiet. "I'm pregnant." Cassian's eyes widened. "You're what?" 4 months? "I didn't know until recently," she said. "Why didn't you tell me sooner?" "I needed time to decide what to do with my child." Cassian looked shocked. "With our child," he said. Serena looked straight at him. "Triplets," she said. Cassian stepped back like the words were heavy bricks. "I'm keeping them," Serena said calmly. "I came to say goodbye because I didn't want you to hear this through gossip." Cassian stared at her belly. "This is too fast. I need time. We need to talk." Serena asked, "Where? In between your meetings? At a fundraiser?" "That's not fair," Cassian said. "I know," she said, and she walked out. For the next week, Cassian felt lost. He looked okay in front of others, but inside he was falling apart. He called doctors. He booked meetings with baby experts. He sent messages like, "Please let me help. You don't have to do this alone. I'll support the babies." Serena answered once. Her voice was gentle. You're thinking about numbers and plans, but what I need is a partner. Cassian had no answer. Serena added, if you can't be here with your heart, I'd rather raise them alone. Then she hung up, and she meant it. The last time they saw each other was in a small cafe downtown. It was raining, the kind of rain that makes car lights look like stars in puddles. Serena wore a navy blue coat. Her belly was just starting to show. Cassian sat across from her, nervous. Serena, he said softly, I've been thinking about everything. So have I, she said. I want to be there, in some way. She looked at him kindly but firmly. In some way is not enough for what's coming. I don't know how to be a dad, Cassian said. I never planned this. Neither did I, Serena whispered. Cassian looked down. I love them already, she said. I feel them move. I talk to them. They'll need more than money, Cassian. They'll need someone who really sees them. Cassian looked sad. That's not fair. It's not meant to be, Serena replied. She left the cafe with tears in her eyes, but she didn't look back. Cassian sat with his coffee untouched, and the rain fall outside the window like quiet regret. Now, in the present day, Serena was sitting on a velvet bench at a fancy gala. Her 3 children were sleeping beside her. She gently touched Leora's curly hair and watched her chest go up and down as she slept. Cassian was standing nearby, watching them. His eyes looked soft and breakable. Serena whispered without looking up, They always ask me if you'd recognize them. Cassian stopped breathing for a moment. I'd tell them, maybe. Cassian sat beside her. I do now, he said. Serena didn't say anything, but she didn't move away either. The evening at the party was almost over, but the room felt quiet and waiting. People talked less, plates clinked less. Cassian stood still in the center. He didn't look at the rich guests or the business people. He looked only at Serena. She sat with the kids, putting a napkin under Emrys's chin as he happily ate a chocolate-covered strawberry. Leora laughed beside him. Isla sat like a tiny queen with her juice glass. They were full of light. And for the first time in years, Cassian felt like he was standing outside something that belonged to him. He couldn't take it anymore. He stepped forward. Serena saw him coming. She picked up Emrys from her lap and placed him next to his sisters. Cassian didn't talk at first. He knelt in front of the kids. I need to tell you something, he said. Isla looked up at him. Are you okay? She asked. Cassian nodded, then looked at Serena. I can't undo the past. I can't fix the times I wasn't here. But if it's okay, I'd like to say something. Serena looked at him. For the first time, she didn't see guilt. She saw that he meant it. She nodded. Cassian walked to the stage. He wasn't supposed to speak again. The event was almost finished, but when he tapped the microphone near the piano, the room went quiet. Everyone turned to look at him. Some people knew what his face looked like when he was serious, but this time he looked different, open, real. There are moments when we can't pretend anymore, Cassian began. This is one of those moments. Everyone listened. I invited someone here tonight for a silly reason, he said, looking around the room, but I didn't expect her to come and to bring the 3 most amazing little people I've ever seen. People gasped. 3 years ago, I found out I was going to be a father, Cassian said. But instead of staying, I left. Not with my body, but with my heart. The guests stopped whispering. They were quiet now. I told myself I was too busy, too scared, too important. But the truth is, I was afraid, and I hid behind work. I watched a brave woman walk out of my life, pregnant and strong, and I let her go. She never asked me for money. She didn't beg me for anything. She carried the weight all alone. A few women in the room were crying. Cassian turned and made a small motion with his hand. Serena stepped forward. Her green silk dress shined under the lights. She walked with her head high. Her children followed. They didn't understand everything, but they felt something special was happening. Cassian stepped off the stage to meet them. Serena, he said softly, I failed you. I failed them, and I don't deserve your forgiveness just because I finally showed up. Serena looked at him. Her breath was shaking. I'm not asking you to forget, Cassian said. I'm asking if we can start again, not to look good or make headlines, but because I saw something tonight. I saw my children. I saw you. And I knew I can't stay outside anymore. Serena said nothing for a moment. She looked at the kids. Isla was holding her dress. Leora was biting her lip. Emrys held Serena's hand tightly. I came tonight for them, Serena said softly, but I also came to see if you'd even recognize what you lost. Cassian swallowed. I do. Do you know Leora sings when she's scared? Serena said. Isla tells bedtime stories in funny voices. Emrys tries to fix everything in the house with toy tools, and he asks if he's like you. Cassian's eyes were wet. I want to know all of it, he said. Serena stepped a little closer. You missed their first words, their first doctor visit, their first school interview, their first question about where their daddy is. Each word was heavy, but Cassian listened to all of them. I'm sorry, he said quietly, for all of it. The room was silent. Serena looked at the children, then back at Cassian. Isla, she said, do you want to say something? Isla nodded slowly. She took a step forward and said in her small voice, I hoped you'd come someday. Cassian knelt again, his eyes blinking fast. I'm here now. Leora ran to him and hugged him tight. Emrys looked up. Do you want to come to our house next time? He asked. Cassian laughed a little, his voice shaky. If you'll have me. Serena looked down. A single tear rolled down her cheek. Cassian stood up and gently held her hand. I don't expect you to forget, Serena, he said. I only hope I can earn your trust again. Serena didn't say anything. She just let her hand stay in Cassian's hand. The big fancy room with people in suits and shiny shoes got very quiet. Then everyone started to clap. It wasn't loud or crazy. It was the kind of clap people give when they see something very special. Rowan, who was standing by the bar, wiped his eyes and lifted his glass. To truth and second chances, he said. People touched their glasses together and smiled. A new song started playing. Cassian picked up one of his daughters and began to dance. Serena stood next to him. She watched him and smiled. They didn't talk. They didn't need to. Something inside both of them felt lighter. The music was soft. A piano near the stairs played a gentle song. The room didn't feel the same anymore. It felt nicer. People weren't whispering or gossiping. They were just smiling and feeling happy for Serena and Cassian. Cassian walked away from the center of the room with Serena beside him. Their 3 kids walked with them, full of energy and joy. It felt like something was ending, but also something new was beginning. Nobody was judging them anymore. People were looking at them kindly. Serena stood tall. She still held Emrys's hand. He was trying to fix his bow tie and walking a little funny. Leora was humming a little song she made up. Isla held Serena's other hand and smiled shyly at the people. Tessa walked up. Her eyes were shiny with happy tears. That was very brave, she said, and gave Serena's hand a squeeze. You were strong. I always knew you were. Serena smiled. Thank you, Tessa. That means a lot. Tessa bent down and offered the kids some macarons from a tray. Take 2 each, she whispered, but don't tell anyone. The kids laughed and grabbed the colorful treats. Cassian watched Serena. She was kind and strong and full of love. She didn't just belong in this big fancy place. She stood out. Rowan came over and smiled. So when's the next big party? He joked. Cassian laughed. Ask me after I learn everyone's bedtime routine. Rowan nodded to Serena. Your kids are amazing. Serena looked at her kids and smiled. They're the ones teaching me most days. As they walked, more people came to talk. A woman from the marketing team shook Serena's hand. I remember you from 3 years ago. Always so kind. It's nice to see you again. An older man from the board looked at Cassian. Your speech was the most honest thing I've ever heard. You're more than just numbers, Bryce. Cassian nodded politely. A woman whispered to Serena, He's changed. I hope he keeps it up. You deserve that. Serena gave a soft smile. She didn't make promises, but the kind words felt good. Leora spun around and almost bumped into a waiter. Cassian caught her quickly. Whoa there, little lady, he said. I'm dancing, she giggled. This dress makes me float. Cassian smiled and gave her a little spin. Serena watched and felt a tug in her heart. He could have been doing this all along. They reached the balcony. Serena stepped outside and looked at the city lights. Cassian followed. It's quieter out here, she said. Cassian nodded. Yes, it is. Do you regret inviting me? Serena asked. Cassian said, I regret not inviting you sooner, for the right reasons. Serena looked at him. I wasn't sure you'd recognize me. Cassian said, I didn't at first, but when I saw you with the kids, it all made sense. Everything I ignored, everything I ran from. Serena asked, Do you mean it, Cassian? Or is this just guilt in a suit? He stepped closer. I don't want a second chance because I feel bad. I want it because now I understand what I missed and who I lost. Serena didn't smile, but her eyes looked a little softer. Back inside, the kids were playing musical chairs with other children. Rowan leaned down to Emrys. You'll be the boss one day, he said. Emrys blinked. Okay. Cassian and Serena came back inside and saw their kids laughing and having fun. Isla squealed when she won a seat. Leora sat at just the right time. Emrys clapped for everyone. Cassian sat next to Serena. You did this, he said. You gave them joy. You gave them a home. Serena looked ahead. I tried. No, you did it, he said. She looked at him. And what about you? I want to start now, he said, not just with them, with you. She looked away. It's not that easy. I know. I don't expect it to be easy. I just want to try one moment at a time. A new slow song started. Some people went to dance. Cassian stood up and held out his hand. May I? Serena looked at him, then put her glass down and took his hand. They danced slowly. It wasn't a fancy dance. It was like talking without words. I used to imagine this, Cassian said. You and me at a party, no secrets, just us. And I used to imagine you would forget me by morning, she replied. He stopped. But you didn't, she added. That's why I came. I had to know. He spun her gently. She didn't answer. She just rested her head on his shoulder, just for a moment. It was enough. Later, when the night ended, Cassian helped the kids get their coats. Serena watched him tie Emrys's shoe. It was such a small thing, but it meant so much. He had changed. Are we going home now? Leora asked. Serena nodded. Yes, love. Cassian looked at her. Can I ride with you? Just to the block. I won't stay. Serena thought. All right, she said. In the car, the kids fell asleep quickly. Cassian sat across from Serena and watched them. How did you do this alone? He asked. Serena waited, then said, I didn't have a choice, but now, maybe we do. Cassian nodded. Whatever you need, time, space, help, I'll be here. Serena looked at him. Start with being steady, not promises. I can do that, he said. When they reached her home, Cassian helped the kids out. He gave Leora her purse and fixed Isla's sweater. He didn't talk much. He just wanted to help. At the door, he stopped. Good night, he said. Serena nodded. Good night. Thank you for letting me walk beside you tonight, he added. She nodded again. We'll see. The car drove away. Cassian sat alone, but for the first time, he didn't feel lonely. He felt hopeful. At home, the apartment was quiet. The kids were in bed wearing pajamas. Leora had moons, Ela had suns, and Emrys had rocket ships. Their soft breathing filled the room. Serena stood in the hallway holding a glass of water. Cassian was on the couch looking at a drawing on the wall. It showed 4 stick people, Mommy, Isla, Leora, and Emrys. There was an empty space next to them. I didn't know they made that, Cassian said. They surprised me, Serena replied. They said they left a space, just in case. Cassian's voice got quiet. Even before I said anything? Serena nodded. They always wondered. They ask. I try to be kind. Cassian looked at his hands. Do they ask if I love them? Serena came closer. They don't ask. They just believe it. I taught them that love is the reason good things happen. Cassian's throat felt tight. You did more than I ever could have. You still can, she said. She sat beside him. But you have to understand something. He turned to her. You can't get back lost time, she said. What's gone is gone, and what's ahead, that's not promised either. You can't just make one speech and think everything will be okay. Cassian looked into her eyes. I know, I just want to be there for real. If that means starting from the beginning, I will. Serena studied him. She remembered the man who made her laugh, who flew back for her, who held her hand when she was scared. He was still there, but softer now. You've changed, she said. Cassian looked away. I had to. Why? Cassian asked softly. Because when I lost you, Serena said, something inside me broke. Something I didn't even know was there. Serena felt her chest get tight. Cassian kept talking. I stayed busy with work, he said. Reading news, talking about big plans, going to meetings. I thought I could run away from the sadness, but it stayed. Serena looked at her hands. Do you love the kids? She asked. With all my heart, Cassian said quickly, even before I said it out loud. And what about me? Serena asked. The question floated in the air. Cassian didn't blink. I never stopped loving you. Serena took a deep breath. But love, she said, is not just saying it, it's showing up, even on hard days. I know, Cassian whispered. Let me show you now. Serena folded her arms across her waist. I'm not ready to say yes, she said, but I'm not closing the door either. That's more than I deserve, Cassian said. She nodded. Then prove it. The next morning was quiet. Cassian had slept on the couch. He chose to. Serena gave him a pillow, a blanket, and a cup of tea. But nothing more. The kids woke up early. They were still excited from the party. Emrys jumped on Cassian's chest, laughing. You're still here? He asked. Cassian smiled. Still here. Isla peeked from behind the door. Are we having pancakes? She asked. Serena walked in, rubbing her eyes. Let's make them together, she said. In the kitchen, things got fun and messy. Flour was on the counters. Emrys tried to crack an egg, but made a big mess. Leora sneaked in some chocolate chips. Isla stirred the batter like a pro. Cassian helped. He wasn't perfect, but he was there. He wiped the mess. He flipped pancakes. He laughed when the pan got too hot. Serena watched him. He didn't ask for praise. He just helped. After breakfast, the kids ran to the living room, smiling with syrup on their faces. Serena stood next to Cassian at the sink. You're really here, she said quietly. I am, Cassian said. No camera, no tricks, just me. I don't know what's going to happen next, Serena said. Cassian turned off the water and dried his hands. Then let's not rush, he said. Serena looked at him. What if the kids ask if we're back together? Then we say we're working on something better, Cassian said. Something honest. Serena blinked. Did you practice that? Cassian smiled. Nope. That was she smiled too. Okay. Later that day, Cassian had to leave for work. Night, but he didn't really want to go. He stood in the living room watching the kids draw. Isla waved. Come again tomorrow. Cassian knelt down. I'll call first, okay? Leora said, bring snacks. Emrys pointed to the door. And socks. You forgot yours, Cassian laughed. Deal. Deal. Tell me what you need, he said, so you can feel safe again, so you can believe me. Serena looked up. Consistency. That means showing up again and again. Accountability. That means telling the truth and time. Cassian nodded. You'll have all three. Serena walked with him to the door. One more thing, she said. He stopped. Don't just show up for them, she said. Show up for you. Be someone you can be proud of, even when no one's watching. Cassian looked in her eyes. I will, he said. He stepped outside. The sun peeked through the clouds. It felt like more than just sunshine. It felt like hope. 2 weeks passed. Cassian called every day. He visited in the evenings. He read books and played games. He brought dinner, burned it once, ordered food the next time. The kids teased him when he got sauce on his shirt. Cassian laughed at himself. He didn't try to impress anyone. He just showed up. Slowly, it made a difference. One rainy Thursday, the kids were asleep. Serena stood by the window with a mug of tea. Cassian sat on the floor, building a bookshelf. The kids wanted a reading corner. Daddy, build something for us, Leora had said. So Cassian was building it. You're getting better with tools, Serena said with a smile. Cassian looked up. Your son is checking my work. I can't fail. Serena giggled and sat next to him. They worked quietly, passing screws and wooden pieces. It wasn't romantic, it was real. I'm glad you're here, Serena said. So am I, Cassian said. They talk about you all the time, Serena said. Emrys talks about you the moment he wakes up. That means everything to me, Cassian whispered. But what about you? Serena didn't look away. I'm still scared, she said. Scared of me? Cassian asked. Of us? Of the past or the future? He set down the screwdriver. You don't owe me anything, he said. Not a second chance. Just the truth. Serena took a breath. The truth is, I don't want to do this alone anymore. Not because I need help, but because I deserve someone by my side. Cassian reached for her hand. You have someone, he said. If you let me be him. Serena nodded. I'm ready to try. That weekend, Cassian took them to the park near the river. There was a playground with swings and a merry-go-round. The kids had asked to go. Cassian brought a picnic basket with sandwiches, juice, fruit, and chocolate cake. You remembered, Serena said, looking at the cake. Hazelnut ganache, Cassian smiled. You said it tasted like a quiet Friday night in Paris. I remembered. They laughed. The kids ran across the grass. They chased bubbles and fed ducks. When Ela fell and scraped her knee, Cassian picked her up gently. He cleaned the cut and said, even the bravest explorers fall sometimes. Serena watched him, and her heart softened. Later, under the shade of a tree, Cassian gave Serena a small box. This isn't a ring, he said. It's something else. Serena opened it. Inside was a necklace with 3 tiny name charms. Ela, Leora, Emrys. Her eyes filled with tears. I missed the beginning, Cassian said, but I want to be there for the rest. Every joke, every school project, every bedtime story, every birthday, every special moment. Serena touched the charms. They'll love this. Cassian pulled out his own necklace from under his shirt. Same names, he said. I want to carry them with me too. Serena leaned into him. You really are different now. I just finally know what matters, Cassian said. 3 months later, the bookshelf was full of books, toys, and a photo of that day in the park. Every Tuesday night, Cassian read to the kids. He did funny voices. He made mistakes. They loved it. Leora liked chapter books. Isla liked rhymes. Emrys always asked for 2 stories. Serena started making time for Cassian, not just in her days, but in her heart. One night, rain tapped the windows. The kids were asleep. Cassian stood by the mirror, fixing his collar. He wore simple clothes, no suit, no speech. You're early, Serena said, walking out of her room. I like being early now, Cassian said. Good habit. She smiled. He walked to her. I know this isn't a fairy tale, Cassian said. We're not erasing anything. We're learning from it, Serena said. Cassian held her hand. I love you, he said. I want to build a life with you, a life full of joy, not regret. Serena's eyes sparkled. Then let's begin. They kissed, not to end something, but to start something new. Not perfect, but real. The next morning, the kids ran down the hall, still in pajamas, shouting about cereal and cartoons. Serena made coffee. Cassian packed lunchboxes. They worked like a team. Not perfect, but full of love. The doorbell rang. A letter from school. Serena opened it. The kids had drawn pictures of their family. Each drawing had 5 people, smiling, holding hands, under a bright blue sky. Serena showed the drawings to Cassian. He didn't say a word. He just kissed her head and whispered, "This time, we'll do it right." Thanks for watching. If you liked the story, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share your thoughts in the comments. Check out our other videos too. See you in the next one.